Whoa, is it Godzilla? No, Manhattan is shaking. The year 2005, it's shaking not because of an earthquake, not because of a monster, but because of a success story. That's right. This is an area where a lot of shaking happens, Manhattan. And we're going to hear from a gentleman. He's in the studio with me on the mic. His name is John-Paul Lee. Welcome, the founder and CEO of Tavalon, to On the Mic with me, Isaac. Hi.
How are you?
Doing good. And I'm excited because you brought in some stuff today. Let me just take care of a little business here. Oh, wow, this is hot. Hang on a second. Oh, this is good stuff. Thank you very much. Even the smell of the studio has changed. So thanks for the tea.
Absolutely. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
I mean, I'm a coffee drinker and a tea drinker, but in Korea, I would think you're going to be kind of facing an uphill battle because there are a lot of coffee drinkers.
Well, actually, it's a great opportunity for us right now because a lot of people are being more educated on why tea is better for you.
Yeah.
They're understanding the health benefits to it.
Yes.
And, it's the whole well-being craze. I've never seen any country so wrapped up in the word well-being as in Seoul. So it's a great opportunity for us, and we're happy to be here.
This attitude that you have, I got to say, I heard the story once about two shoe salesmen who went to Africa, and they sent back like memos to their headquarters saying, oh my goodness, they don't wear shoes here. One guy wrote back saying, forget it.
Right.
Send me home. Give me my ticket. The other guy was like, great opportunity. They don't have shoes here.
Right, exactly.
And this seems like your attitude. That's why you're invited here, and we're so happy to have you. Tell us your story.
So in 2005, I was actually working for a company called Accenture as a management consultant.
Okay.
And I was there for about 4.5 years. And always wanted to break out of the corporate rat race.
Right,
I always wanted to have my own business, do something on my own. Didn't know exactly what it was until I was actually sitting in the middle of Covent Garden one day.
In the UK?
In London,
okay.
Yes. My client was in London. And middle of Covent Garden, drinking a cup of cappuccino, and looked around, and every single person around me was drinking tea.
They are true tea drinkers.
They are, but even that was a very rare sight. But it was almost like a calling. It was a very, very rare sight. So I said, I need to look into this. I grew up in a Korean American household.
Yeah.
Drank a lot of tea, especially boricha.
Sure.
But never saw tea as a business opportunity until that moment. And did some research, realized that tea was the second most widely consumed beverage in the world next to water.
Wow.
Very surprising.
I guess that kind of makes sense. You think about the most populated countries in the world and the boiling of water and adding some flavor. And I would think just like boricha or barley tea water in Korea too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the beginnings of it. I wanted to look into a little more. I traveled all throughout Europe and Asia.
Yeah.
Visited over 300 tea establishments and tea plantations.
Wow.
And really put together what I thought was missing in the tea industry, and especially in the States.
Yeah.
The common perception of tea is this beverage that's, it's an ancient old beverage for Europeans.
Right.
It's too Asian. It's a ritual. You only drink it when you're sick. Pinky up in the air. British Queen. All these things, and we wanted to take away and say, hey, these are all components of tea.
Yeah.
But here's a new way of looking at it. It's sexy. It's young. It's delicious. And here's a new brand called Tavalon.
Sexy, young, and delicious.
Absolutely.
Wow. That's pretty nice. Well, where did you come up with that name? My parents, when I grew up in Berkeley, lived on this street called Avalon Avenue.
Sure.
And I never really looked into the meaning of the name, but it sounds like some, Greek island where people are happy or something.
Very close, very close. So Avalon is a mythical paradise island in Arthurian legend.
Oh, okay.
And it's a paradise island, and the word tea is from tea. Right?
Yes.
So put together, you have tea paradise.
Tea paradise.
Yeah.
Well, so was this also one of those kind of like inspiration moments where you're like, hey, tea paradise? Or did you go through the process of like just researching and just tell you're really happy with the name?
It's the latter, actually. Before I settled on this name, I had over 1,500 other names that could have been potentials. And basically locked myself in a room and decided on Tavalon. I thought it had a good ring to it.
You sound like a pretty intense guy. I mean, most parents, when they're going to have a kid and they look at names, boy names, girl names, they'll do a little research, maybe buy a book. 1,500 names?
Yeah, I was intense. I drank a lot of tea and calmed down a bit since.
Sexy, young, and what was the third one?
Healthy.
Healthy. Okay. Yeah, I'm from the other coast. I'm a West Coast guy. And health is definitely one of those things that we're always kind of hooked onto. And you may have heard of Good Earth tea.
Of course.
Caffeine-free stuff is always the rage. But when I lived in New York, on the East Coast, it was like people wanted to pick me up. People wanted a little kick. And I'm looking at, I guess we can't say the names, but one of the teas you brought in is kind of a kicker. And it's not an English breakfast. It's what kind of tea is this?
Well, it's from New York, so it's an NYC.
An NYC
right.
tea, okay.
Right. And, that's the thing is, tea is such a functional beverage.
Yeah.
Coffee it's going to pick you up and it's going to crash you just as fast, right?
Yeah.
Tea is all about a purpose and a need, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to wake up in the morning, you have a highly caffeinated tea product.
Right.
And if you want to go to sleep at night, you have a chamomile-based sleepy time tea. So it's really anything in between. And it's for, anywhere from your 4-year-old child all the way through your 95-year-old grandmother and anyone in between that.
That's a good point.
Right. You can't give your 4-year-old child a cup of coffee, right?
Shouldn't give.
Not in your best interest, right? And it also extracts calcium from your bones. Right? It stains your teeth.
That's right.
A lot of reasons why you shouldn't be drinking coffee. So we're here to give you the alternative.
Nice. Well, let's go back to New York. 2005, you're starting to, shake it up a bit. What was the reception, the reaction? In what ways did you start doing some shaking?
Yeah, it was a shock value. Nobody's ever seen a branded tea company, really. I mean, you have Lipton's, you have Celestial Seasonings, you have Good Earth, you have Bigelow. But if you really think about it, these guys are all focused on one thing, and it's convenience. Not quality, it's convenience, right?
It's kind of the mass-produced, tea, right?
It is, because what happens is when these barrels come over, right, the massive barrels, only about the top half of it is really considered premium loose-leaf tea.
Really?
The bottom is what we call in the industry dust and fannings.
Dust and fannings.
Right.
The dust part doesn't sound good.
Exactly, right? So we try to focus on the top-notch premium quality level of tea, and we want to put it out in a way that people can appreciate it. Right? It's an obtainable luxury. So if you look at our packaging, even I'm sure you can't see it through the radio right now, but it's transparent. It's see-through. So we're basically